Well, next to where the Black Friday tradition began in the United States, and despite being the biggest sales of all year, initial reports suggest the number of shoppers in bricks and mortar retailers were subdued, but online sales did jump. Well, in an effort to attract the most eager holiday shoppers and fend off competition from Amazon.com, US retailers have increasingly extended their holiday deals. But as you can see from these pictures, there are still large crowds hitting Walmart at least, and also some of them queuing up for a bargain.
Well, joining us here in the studio is David Blair, the CEO at global retail and brand consultancy FITCH. David, so far, sales looking a little weaker than we had maybe expected. Obviously, it's, still early days, not a done deal yet. But are you surprised at this?
Well, no, not really. I mean, we, for a while at FITCH now, have been suggesting that there is going to be something of a downturn on Black Friday, particularly in the UK this year. This is potentially a bit of a response to some of the mayhem of last year. But having said all of that, it is difficult to really determine at this stage because about 90% of sales we know on Black Friday are done online. So the feeling in the street may not represent the true sales going on.
It's still a relatively new phenomenon on this side of the Atlantic, but we're getting used to it. And what strikes me is that it's not really just one day of deals. The deals started maybe in the middle of last week and will continue throughout the weekend. Do you think is the whole kind of concept of a one-day bonanza of bargains even running out of steam in the United States as well, where it all began?
Well, I think retailers in particular, particularly bricks and mortar retailers and non-discounter retailers, struggle with the fact that it has been on one day in the past. And I think many of them are beginning to find ways to spread the impact across the month of November and into December. I mean, even here, for example, Argos has 4 Black Fridays, if you like, so and therefore spreading the impact that it has. So yes, I think retailers are becoming smart as to how they spread it over a longer period to avoid the spike. Yep.
And of course, we've got coming up Cyber Monday.
Yep.
Do you think in many respects Cyber Monday's overtaken Black Friday here and in the US?
Well, I think that here again, it is very new, this idea of Cyber Monday. I think because of the way that on Black Friday in particular, most of the sales are happening online, there's very little to differentiate between Black Friday and Cyber Monday in the UK. Of course, in the US, where both of these new institutions came into being, Black Friday has a secondary purpose in that it is an extension, if you like, or it's an added part to the Thanksgiving holiday that people feel is something of an event. Whereas Cyber Monday is when you're back to work, you're online again, and so that's a different concept.
Obviously, this Christmas, what happened in Paris will be on the minds of many shoppers. Some concerns, perhaps, that densely populated city centre locations could become a terrorist target. Are you hearing any concern from retailers about this?
Well, naturally, there will be some people that will be concerned about this. Of course, there will. As far as our conversations with our contacts amongst the retailers are concerned, there is no discernible impact as yet in the UK. So, but I'm sure, as you say, there'll be some people that will be concerned.
I mean, I think, a little bit about, like what you were saying earlier, a lot of these sales are going to be taking place online. Do you think days like today and indeed Cyber Monday highlight the sort of changing face of retail that we're seeing?
Not really. I mean, I think the interesting thing about the shift onto the online as far as retail is concerned over the last few years, there's been a big emphasis on that shift. But I think the changing face of retail isn't that shift on its own anymore. If you take Amazon, for example, an online player and an online discounter, they have just opened very traditional bookshop in Seattle. So they themselves as an online player are moving offline, like the offline players are moving online. So I think the changing face of retail has to be about being consumer-centric, about being experiential, and giving the consumers what they want and what they need, not just in terms of price.
OK. David Blair from FITCH, thank you very much for your thoughts today.
Thank you.